This is the 6th video in a series of 17 videos exploring the book, The Power of Discipline: How to Use Self-Control and Mental Toughness to Achieve Your Goals by Daniel Walter. In this video, we're diving into Chapter 6, Tips for Building Better Habits. In this chapter, Daniel Walter talks about how to develop powerful habits, the kind that can sustain long-term success, financial, personal, and emotional. The Navy SEALs, the elite soldiers of the U.S. Navy, are used by Walter as the ultimate example of discipline. They're trained to endure what most people could never handle. And what sets them apart isn't their physical strength, but their mental toughness. They discovered something that applies to all of us, especially to those who are rebuilding their lives. The body gives up long before the real limit is reached. When you think you can't go any further, you're only using about 40% of your potential. There's still 60% of energy, courage, and capacity waiting to be accessed. And this is where the first great lesson of this chapter comes in. The 40% rule. It says that when you feel like you've reached your limit, that's exactly when your real growth begins. In financial life, this is what separates those who give up early from those who rebuild their story. Because starting over after 40 means challenging every mental limit you've ever had. It means proving, day after day, that there is still strength, intelligence, and purpose within you. The 40% rule teaches us that the limit is rarely real. When you feel like you no longer have the energy to study, to work, to save, or to invest, remember, fatigue is often just the brain asking for comfort, not a sign of incapacity. The brain always seeks what is familiar, and the new feels threatening, but prosperity always lives on the other side of discomfort. Now imagine applying this to your financial life. Maybe you're going through a difficult moment, trying to pay off debts, reorganize your life, or start a small business. You look at the bills and think, I can't take it anymore. I've reached my limit. But what if that limit is only 40%? What if there's still 60% of creativity, discipline, and potential inside you waiting to be activated? That's the turning point. Realizing that you can do more, much more, than your body or your fear tells you. Another essential point in this chapter is the power of the mind. Walter mentioned studies showing that the simple act of believing can already improve physical and mental performance. It's what we call the placebo effect. When the brain believes something will work, it makes the body act in ways that confirm that belief. Now translate that into your financial life. If you believe you were not born to prosper, your behavior will confirm that belief. But if you convince yourself that you are capable of rewriting your story, your brain starts acting according to this new identity. You must act, even when your body and your mind beg you to stop. And in stressful situations, like financial struggles, uncertainty, or family pressure, the body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, putting us into a fight, flight, or freeze state. Most people freeze. But the Navy SEALs learn how to control emotional arousal. They take deep breaths, slow down, and regain command. It's a simple yet powerful technique. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale for 4 seconds. Repeat this until your mind returns to its center. You can use this whenever you're about to make an impulsive financial decision, like buying something unnecessary, selling something out of fear, or giving up on a plan because of anxiety. Just breathe. A calm mind decides better. And prosperity, above all, is about making decisions with clarity. The next lesson is the 10X rule, created by Grant Cardone and presented by Walter in this chapter. It says, multiply your goals by 10. Why? Because small goals generate small actions. but big goals force you to become a bigger person. In financial life, this is crucial. If your goal is only to get out of debt, you'll keep revolving around it. But if your goal is to achieve financial freedom, to live peacefully, to invest, to leave a legacy, your actions will align with that greater purpose. The 10x rule changes your identity. You stop acting like someone who's just surviving and start acting like someone who's building. And when that happens, money stops being a burden and becomes a tool. The secret is to think big, not out of empty ambition, but because thinking big forces your brain to expand the range of possible solutions. Those who think small only see obstacles. Those who think big see pathways. Now, you might be asking yourself, but what if I fail? And here lies another essential point. Failure is part of the discipline training. Just as a Navy SEAL uses every ounce of pain as a lesson, the adult who chooses to prosper after 40 must turn every loss into learning. With every mistake, you become more experienced. And experience is the most valuable capital of this stage of life. Walter closes the chapter by talking about the 10-minute rule, a simple yet brilliant method to overcome impulsiveness. According to a Harvard University study, when chimpanzees and humans were given the choice between a small immediate reward or a larger one after a few minutes, the chimpanzees were actually more disciplined. They waited more often. We humans did not. Why? Because we are masters at rationalizing our mistakes. We tell ourselves we deserve that pleasure now, that it won't hurt to spend a little, that life is short. And that's exactly where we sabotage our future. The 10-minute rule is an antidote to this behavior. Before acting on impulse, whether it's eating something that pulls you away from health, buying something that pulls you away from your goals, or reacting to something that steals your peace, wait 10 minutes. If, after that time, you still want to do it, go ahead. But most of the time, the impulse will fade away. Time is the filter of consciousness. When you learn to wait, you learn to choose. This technique is a practical tool for prosperity, because that's what prosperity really is: delaying immediate pleasure in the name of a greater purpose. It's about stopping the pattern of acting as a victim of your emotions and starting to act as the protagonist of your own story. If you're in the mature stage of life, remember this: it's not too late to prosper. You already have the experience, the wisdom, and the scars that make you capable of living your best chapter. But for that to happen, you'll need to discipline your mind, control your emotions, and turn every habit into a bridge toward the future you want to build. Because true financial and emotional freedom is born from the ability to do what needs to be done, even when no one is watching. The 40% rule, the breathing control technique, the 10x rule, and the 10-minute rule are more than strategies. They are reminders that your mind is your greatest tool. And when your mind becomes your ally, nothing is impossible. So if today you feel like you've already given everything you could, remember, there's still 60% inside you waiting to be awakened. Did you enjoy this video? Then like, share, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. There's still 60% inside me waiting to be awakened. And don't forget to check out our financial mindset development materials linked in the first pinned comment.